it's time for us to get together and enjoy the lovely words and phrases of the English language. Here we go again. We are back, everyone. I hope you are feeling good today. I hope today you have a spring in your step. I hope you are feeling really, really good today. Here we go. We are back, everyone. English Addict is coming to you once more from the birthplace of the English language. And we all know where that is. Yes, of course. You know where it is. I know where it is. We all know where it is. It is, of course, England. Yes, it is. We are back, everyone. Oh, hello there. Hi, everybody. This is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you feeling happy? I'm okay. I'm not too bad. I suppose I would say I am quite relaxed today. I don't know why, because today's subject is one that I am completely afraid of. It is a subject I hate so much. But we are going to talk about it. However, I did have a lovely sleep last night, very relaxing. Also, I went to see my mummy as well. On Friday, we went to see my mum. We had a lovely time with her, even though for most of the time she was fast asleep. She was sleeping away in front of us, but we had a lovely time seeing her anyway. It was lovely. And then after that, Mr. Steve and myself, we went for a KFC. Yes, we did. Now, it does sound as if we are having a good time there, but we were hungry and we thought we would treat ourselves to a Kentucky Fried Chicken, or as they say in China, Kendeji. Did you know that? Yes, so now you have learned some Chinese. Kendeji is Kentucky Fried Chicken in Chinese. I am Mr. Duncan, by the way, for those wondering who that strange man is. I wonder who is that strange man there? Can you see? There are people walking. There is one person and there is another person walking behind me right now. They are outside enjoying this lovely day. I hope you are okay. I love English, by the way. I am an English addict. I am one of those up there. I love the English language. You might say that I am crazy about English, which I am, of course. I hope you are all feeling good today. I am okay. I have to be honest with you. A busy week, a busy year so far, but everything is okay. So I feel quite good today, and I hope you do as well. So that's the introduction out of the way. We are talking about a subject that I do not like. I hate the subject. And I know what you're thinking. You're wondering, Mr. Duncan, if you hate the subject, why are you going to talk about it? Well, I think it's still an interesting subject. Even if we don't like things, sometimes it is nice to talk about them. I don't like politics, to be honest. However, I do find it interesting from time to time when interesting things happen. I suppose I have been watching the news over the past few days with what is happening in the United States and also other parts of the world, as well as political situations change and alter. Things are always changing. I think we do become bored very easily nowadays with information, because we always want more information. Have you noticed that? We always want a little bit more information. There never seems to be enough information. If we hear about something, immediately we want to hear more about it. Please tell me more. Please give me more information. And then a few moments later, we want even more information about that thing. So I think these days we do become slightly bored with news, because we always feel as if we want to know more. and we always feel as if we don't know, or we don't become informed about what is happening in the world. Anyway, I'm here, and I hope you are okay as well. Yes, we have made it all the way to the end of another week, and almost the end of another weekend as well, because it is Sunday. We are back together, everyone. I hope you are having a good one. I hope today everything is shining on you with a lovely warm light. I really do. And we are back together again. Don't forget, and I suppose I should mention, we are here twice a week. Sunday and Wednesday as well. We are here. Also coming up today, yes, I know what you're going to say, is Mr. Steve coming onto the live chat? The answer to that is yes. Steve will be with us a little bit later on. We are talking about mathematics, maths, or as they say in the United States, math. They don't say maths, they say math without the S on the end. So that is what we are talking about now. Hello to everyone, nice to see you here. The live chat is very busy. I wonder who was first on today's live chat. And I suppose the big question is, because I haven't done it for a long time, I haven't given anyone a fancy pants for a very long time. So I'm just wondering if I can give a fancy pants to today's first live chat. Oh, hello to Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here. And yes, I have noticed you are first, and congratulations to you. Congratulations and jubilations. Luis Mendez is first on today's live chat. Nice to see you back, and I suppose also I should give you a big, happy, wonderful, fresh from the laundry, fancy pants. That's enough. We can't have too much excitement. We are only 12 minutes into today's live stream, so I have to be careful. We also have Vitas. Hello, Vitas. Nice to see you back here as well. Very nice to see you on the live chat. I hope you can hear me all right today. One of my microphones in my studio seems to have a problem, so I hope I am coming through loud and clear. If I'm not, please let me know, but I will try my best. I might have to open the window and start shouting if it gets any worse. Anyway, Vitas is here. Hello, Vitas. You are second today on the live chat. Beatrice, Palmyra. We also have Paolo. Hello, Paolo. I do believe that you are trying to send some of your videos of you singing. Now, you can, of course, make them smaller. You can make them smaller by compressing them. I won't get into the technical details at the moment, but there is a way of doing that. But yes, I know what you mean. Sometimes it is hard, especially if you are sending video clips through email or through the internet. It can be quite difficult. Hello also to Daruz. Hello to you. Nice to see you back here as well today. A lot of people joining in. Alessandra. Hello to you. We also have Marwa, or should I say Marwa. Marwa is back with us as well. Guadeloupe. Hello, Guadeloupe. Oh my goodness. Guadalupe Guzman Torres is here, and I feel as if it's been a very long time. I haven't seen you for ages on the live chat. So welcome back, Guadalupe. It's nice to see you here as well. Nitram is here. We also have Valentin. I have a feeling today's live stream is going to be very busy with the live chat. I think so. Hello, Vittoria. Inaki is here as well. So many people are joining me today. Oh, we also have Tomek. Hello, Tomek. Nice to see you back as well. Vittoria is here. Wow. Can I say welcome, everyone? There are too many people here. Could some of you please leave? It's getting very crowded here. It's a little bit like when you travel by train during the rush hour in London. Have you ever tried doing that? I remember going down to London a few years ago, and it was during a very busy period of time. And I remember being crushed on the underground trains that run under the city. Hundreds and hundreds of people all trying to get on and off the trains. And if you've ever been to London, if you've ever experienced the London Underground during rush hour, all I can say is it is not a very nice experience, to be honest. When you travel to different countries, you often find that you experience things in different ways. I remember when Mr. Steve and myself, we were in Paris, and we actually went on the metro. We tried using the underground metro, and it was fantastic. I was so impressed. Even though lots of people kept saying, Mr. Duncan, if you go on the French metro or the Paris metro, please be careful, because there are lots of people who are criminals. But to be honest with you, we enjoyed it. We felt much safer than we normally do when we're travelling here in the UK, I have to say. So I did enjoy it very much. Hello, Hugo is here as well. So many people. We are talking about maths, mathematics, doing arithmetic. Some people are very good at doing maths in their head. I am not one of those people. I am terrible at maths. So this is a very strange subject for me to do because I hate it and I'm not very good at it. So it should be very interesting to see how all of that turns out later on today. Palmyra is here as well, saying hello to Christina. Palmyra says, my son is going to Italy soon to a ski resort. I heard that many skiing places in Austria and Switzerland are now closed. There is a reason for this. They have no snow, apparently, because the earth is heating up, because it is now glowing red with all of the heat. There is no snow in Switzerland. So don't, please, here is a safety warning. Please do not try to ski down any of the Swiss Alps at this time of year, because there should be snow, but there isn't. So if you do try doing it, you might hurt yourself as you bounce along the rocks. Hello, Christina, as well. Christina, I always took the metro, or as we call it here, the underground, or some people call it the tube as well. I always took the metro in London and I always felt safe. There are many cameras and vigilantes around. I'm not sure about vigilantes. It's a great word, by the way. Vigilante. A person who looks out for trouble and is always willing or ready to help other people who might be in danger, or maybe they are in the process of being in danger. vigilante. I remember many years ago there was a series of films starring Charles Bronson called Death Wish. And in those movies, Charles Bronson played the part of a vigilante who went around sorting out the local criminals. Very violent movies. I remember the first one because it was directed by someone called Michael Winner. Michael Winner was I would describe him as an eccentric person, and he directed the first Death Wish film way back in the 1970s. Can I say hello to Monica? Hello, Monica. Nice to see you here as well. Don't worry, 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes you have to wait before Mr. Steve appears. So we are looking at the subject of maths today, mathematics. And in the corner of my studio, I have my new camera that I set up yesterday. Would you like to see it? Here it is. So here's the new camera, and you can see I have something set up here. I have some mathematics for Mr. Steve and maybe also you to sort out later on. So I do have some mathematics for you to answer later on. Oh, don't worry though, they won't be very difficult. They will be easy. They will be quite simple arithmetic questions. So don't worry too much. Don't be afraid. It's only the internet. Don't worry about it at all. Bamboo says, I loved Charles Bronson. He believed in the biblical law, an eye for an eye. Of course, I think that's from the Old Testament. I've read the Bible. A lot of people don't think I have, but I have. I have a copy of the Bible in this house. In fact, I have all the religious books here in the house. So I've looked at all of them. Are you surprised? So an eye for an eye is one of those Old Testament rules. If a person does something bad to you, you do something bad to them. I'm not sure what Jesus would have made of it. I don't think he would have agreed, to be honest with you. Hello, Joseph, as well. Nice to see you here. Oh, we have Claudia. Hello, Claudia. Thank you very much for joining us today as well. Welcome, Claudia. And I suppose I should ask the question that I always ask whenever I see Claudia on the live chat. You know what I'm going to sing right now. What's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in the pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in the pot? What is in the pot today, Claudia? Please let us know. On the live chat, if you are eating something nice, please let me know. By the way, talking of food, I am going to change my ways. Of course, Christmas has just happened. By the way, can I say Happy Christmas to those celebrating Christmas this weekend? Because there are people celebrating Christmas because they follow a different calendar, the Julian calendar. Hello, Julian calendar followers. And can I say Happy Christmas to you as well? Claudia is having pizza. I wonder if you are going to put pineapple on your pizza. If you are, don't do it. Please don't. It is a crime against pizzas. It should be illegal. It should be. They should outlaw putting pineapple on pizzas. It's really disgusting. That's all I've got to say about it anyway. Thank you very much for joining me today. Yes, tomorrow I'm starting my new health regime. because I've been eating a lot over Christmas. I've been eating far too much food, a lot of unhealthy food. But tomorrow morning I am starting my new healthy way of eating. So tomorrow I'm going to start having porridge in the morning again. I haven't done it for a very long time. So I will begin my new health regime, or regime, as some people say. We will be doing that. I will be doing that tomorrow. So I am trying to lose a little bit of weight. It is fair to say that over the Christmas period I have put a little bit of weight on. Mr. Steve has noticed. I have noticed. Maybe you have noticed. So I'm going to try and lose a little bit of weight if I can. Florence is here. Hello, Florence. Alessandra is here. Nice to see you here as well. Oh, we also have Pedro Belmont is here today watching in Brazil. Hello to you as well. Lots of people here today. We are talking about a subject that some people don't like, some people hate, and some people avoid completely. And I am one of those people. Today we are looking at maths, mathematics, words connected to it, and also maybe later on I will give you some mathematics, some problems to solve. Does that sound like a good idea? I think it's a pretty good way of spending your Sunday here on YouTube with us and all the other English addicts. It's so nice to see you here today. We are going to chat with Mr. Steve in a few moments. We're going to find out how he has been. Has Mr. Steve had a good year so far? Find out a little bit later on. We are also going to take a look at Mr. Steve's new plant. If you remember, one of our neighbours gave Mr. Steve a little plant. It hadn't started growing, but Steve has now put it in a pot. He's given it a little bit of water, and you won't believe, you really won't believe what has happened to this plant. We'll be showing that later on as well. Oh, by the way, we went out for a walk the other day. Talking of Christmas, we went out for a walk, and guess what I was wearing the other day? I was wearing my new boots. Mr. Steve bought some boots for me for my Christmas present. So there it is, my lovely Christmas gift. I was wearing them the other day for the first time. My new boots, my lovely walking boots that Mr. Steve bought for Christmas. And as you can see, they are really doing a very good job of keeping the mud off my feet. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Steve. What a lovely gift. Oh, Claudia. Apparently Claudia does not like mathematics. A lot of people don't. The reason why I'm mentioning this today, by the way, I will mention now why I'm talking about maths, because here in the UK, or I suppose more specifically England, a lot of children, a lot of people, young people are leaving school without having any idea how to do mathematics, even simple, basic mathematics. They don't know how to do it. So we often refer to this as numeracy. Numeracy is the ability to work out mathematical problems, normally simple ones. So it would appear here in England, lots of young people are now leaving school and they have no idea, they have no knowledge whatsoever of how to do mathematics. So apparently our government, our lovely friend Rishi Sunak, the other day announced, oh, by the way, say hello, Rishi.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you, Rishi. That's lovely. It's always nice to see him here. Apparently he wants everyone to learn maths until they are 18 years old, because apparently lots of children are leaving school and they can't even add up simple sums, simple arithmetic. Even on their fingers, they can't do it. So our lovely Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said that he's going to bring in a new law that will require young people to learn maths until they are 18. Sukat, hello Sukat, nice to see you here as well. Sukat says, are those boots Dr. Martens? No, they're not. They're not Dr. Martin boots, but they are a very nice brand. They are very high quality boots, and I was wearing them the other day out with Mr. Steve. Hello to Specs. Specs Nilio says, I can't see Rishi Sunak because he's so small. I've noticed that. He's very tiny, isn't he? I always imagined that you could actually put Rishi Sunak in your hand because he's so tiny. He looks so small. I remember when he was giving some press conferences, I did notice that he was standing on top of a box to make himself taller. I did notice that. Nice to see you here, Sukat. Thank you, Sukat, for joining me today. Very nice to see you here as well. We also have Umberto. I love your boots, Mr. Duncan. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like them. If you were watching last week, myself and Mr. Steve, we had a little argument about doing the housework, doing the chores around the house. And I said to Steve, I always do the work in the house. I do most of it. And I can prove it as well. Would you like to see the proof right now? Okay then. So here it is. Here is the proof. Here is the evidence that I, quite often, do most of the jobs around the house, even though I don't really enjoy it. Can you see what I'm doing here? I'm hanging out some washing. This is one of my weekly chores that I have to do. It must be done regularly. To be honest, I do not enjoy doing chores. They are such a chore. We often use the word chore to describe an unpleasant or laborious task. Something we despise or dislike doing can be described as a chore. There are many different types of chore that must be done. Washing the dishes. I hate having to wash the dishes. Mowing the lawn. I hate having to mow the lawn. Putting out the rubbish. I hate having to put out the rubbish. Vacuuming the carpet. I hate having to vacuum the carpet. But for me, the worst chore of all has to be ironing my clothes. I cannot begin to tell you just how much I despise ironing, especially when there are so many clothes that need ironing. Yes, I'm pretty sure that my least favourite chore has got to be doing the ironing. Do you enjoy doing chores? Which chores do you hate doing the most? I think it is true to say that I don't like doing chores. Even though last week Mr. Steve was saying some very cruel things about me. This is English Addict. Welcome everyone. It is Sunday. It's Sunday here. In fact, I think it is Sunday all around the world, and we are coming to you live right now from England. Here we go. Apparently Mr. Steve is all blocked up.
I'm all blocked up, Mr. Duncan. Hello, wonderful viewers from across the globe. Here we are again, together again on Sunday afternoon. It's so exciting. No, I think it's because I've been out in the garden talking about chores, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
I noticed that there were a lot of leaves all over the grass on the lawn.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to remove those, because what happens is that they rot and the grass dies off.
Yes. You are quite particular. You are very fussy about your grass.
Oh yes.
So we like to have our grass nice and green, and it does look good at the moment, I have to say.
It's a bit mossy.
But I will say that we haven't really had a bad winter. So it's not too bad. Very wet, but I think the grass loves that. Anyway, on to more important things, Steve. Whilst we've actually got people watching.
I thought it was about me. What's more important than me, Mr. Duncan?
Well, the live chat is more
live chat
is more important.
Of course.
We have a very busy day today, by the way. We are talking about a subject. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, the reason why I'm talking about this subject is because our government has decided that children, young people, are leaving school and they don't know how to do maths. They don't know how to do mathematics.
Well,
at all.
I'm sure we'll come on to specific definitions surrounding the subject of mathematics.
Okay.
But there is a bit of controversy, isn't there, about does he mean maths or mathematics?
Well, mathematics, generally.
Or does he mean arithmetic?
Well, again, it's basically the same thing, though. It's all numbers. But wait there, Steve. The reason why we're talking about it is because our government has decided that young people are now going to learn mathematics or arithmetic. Sums.
Well, there is a difference, Mr. Duncan.
There is a slight difference, yes, but let's not start splitting hairs at this point. So that's the reason why our lovely Prime Minister has decided that young people are now going to stay at school until they're 18, and they're going to be forced to learn mathematics. They have to work all of those hard things out.
Formulas. Algebra.
Yes, well, maybe not that difficult.
Logarithms.
So we are looking at basic maths today, and also we will be having some maths questions.
What?
Yes. I might test you, Mr. Steve, with some maths questions, and, well, we will see what happens.
I had to retake my maths O-level. O-levels are the exams you take when you're 16 in the UK.
Yes.
And I had to retake my maths because I didn't get a high enough grade. But then I did have a useless teacher at school.
Go on, ask me.
What? What's 1 + 2?
No, ask me how...
I thought you meant ask you a maths question or
an
arithmetic question.
Just ask me how I did at school with
How
maths.
did you do at school with your maths, Mr. Duncan?
I was absolutely dreadful. I hated maths. In fact, I can tell you now that I used to fall asleep. And I did. This is true. This will be in my biography. One day when I write my biography, there will be myself and also Prince Harry writing our life stories. And I think mine is more interesting, to be honest. I think so. And I will talk about how awful I was, how terrible I was at maths at school. Mr. Westwood, I think his name was Mr. West. Sorry, Mr. West. I don't think he's around anymore. I think he's worked out his last calculation.
Oh.
And he is no more. But
right.
He used to always shout at me, Duncan, wake up. Or I would, of course, be looking out the window in a world of my own, where I would often be when I was young, you see.
In a fantasy world
Yes.
of your own making.
So I know Mr. West, who used to teach us maths at high school. He used to always lose his temper with me. He used to get so angry.
Our maths teacher, he was utterly useless. I had the same maths teacher from 11 all the way through to 16, and everyone said he was useless. He didn't tell you how to do it. If you said, "Oh, how do I do that, teacher?" he would just say, "Oh, blah, 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 that's the answer." He
Well-
would never show you.
He literally said blah, 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 blah.
Well, he wouldn't show you how to do it. He would just
Oh,
give
I
you
see.
the answer. I don't think and if you, he used to throw chalk at you.
Okay.
And sometimes, the blackboard with the chalk, and then you have the rubber, don't you? The felt rubber,
The eraser.
the eraser. Well, he used to hurl that. If you hurl something, you throw it with force.
Okay. He used to throw it at you.
Yeah, if not necessarily at me, but anyone in the classroom who was, maybe not concentrating, talking with their friends, he would literally hurl the eraser, which was, had a wooden handle, quite heavy.
Yeah, it was
And
heavy.
it would bash people in the head.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that anymore, Mr. Duncan.
Well, we were at school when teachers were allowed to hit the students, and I was actually hit at school. I remember myself and my friend Martin Bayliss, and we were at school in religious education class, and there was a teacher called Mrs. Cooney, and she was a dragon, basically. She was a horrible, horrible person. And I remember one day she got so angry with us, she got her knuckles, Steve, and she banged them down on our heads, both of us. And it was so painful. And we actually walked out of the class and we protested. So there was myself and Martin. And we went home. We said, "No, I'm sorry, you can't do this to us." So we went home, and it caused so much trouble.
Really?
It really did. The teacher who struck us, she was punished. She was ordered to go to the headmistress, and she was told not to strike or hit students ever again. So yes, and that's because of me.
People are talking about chores, Mr. Duncan, as well. I noticed that you mentioned those earlier.
Well, I did, because last weekend you were saying that I never do the chores, even though I do some of. I put some washing in the washing machine this morning.
Well-
that is chores.
Yeah, I noticed that actually.
Yeah.
I noticed that. So well done to that. But somebody said that they don't like. Can't remember who it was now. Who said that they don't like putting the dishes in. It was Inaki.
Inaki.
Inaki says they don't like putting the dishes in the dishwasher.
No.
I don't, but Mr. Duncan doesn't mind doing that,
No.
so I let him do it.
So that is one of the things I do as well. I do the chores, and as you saw in that video a few moments ago, I can do all of the chores if I feel like it.
Claudia, do you remember when we first met? Over 30 years ago, we were living in a little flat in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
And I was sick to death of doing the chores, cleaning everything. And I said, "Oh, let's have a rota." I said, let's set up a rota.
I have no recollection of that.
I remember it. A rota. A rota is when you write out who does what at particular times.
Yes, and quite often you will swap those
Yes.
those jobs.
So you might say on Tuesday, Mr. Duncan will wash the floor in the kitchen. On Wednesday, Mr. Steve will do the dishes or
Okay.
something, and then you put it up on a board, and then you look at it. Oh, Tuesday today. What do I do? It's a rota
Yes,
Isn't
well,
it?
you can use the word rota or roster.
or roster in
so,
America.
So what you are saying, you are putting something in a particular order or a certain way, quite often for jobs that need to be done.
on particular day, usually set out in days, isn't it?
That's right.
What is the rota for today? Who's doing what? And the idea is that then when you come back to that day another week later, you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Anyway, I said to Mr. Duncan, let's set up a rota, all the jobs that need doing around the flat. And then, I won't have to do it all. And you objected
I did.
Well, you said you didn't remember.
Well, I can imagine that I would.
You did.
I did.
I think you basically said, this isn't my flat, so I'm not going to do any of the chores.
I don't remember
Is
any of
basically
this.
what he said, you see.
You know what? You know what I think? I think Steve is making it up.
No, I'm not. I distinctly remember, Mr. Duncan.
You are trying to make me look bad in front of my millions of followers.
Pedro, this T-shirt, Pedro, hello, Pedro. Pedro, Flags of the World, Pedro,
Okay, yeah.
is from Gap.
Good.
It's not Fred Perry, it's from Gap. But Gap's closed down now, so we can't get any more.
No.
And I got it on a sale, of course, as I always do.
Okay.
That's just why they're closing down, probably.
So today we are looking at mathematics and other things as well. We might also talk about families as well, because on Friday I went to see my mum. We went, didn't we? Although she was asleep. Apparently it turns out that my mother is a night person. And this is often the case with people who get Alzheimer's. When a person suffers from Alzheimer's, quite often they will be more active at night than during the day. So my mother was asleep, wasn't she?
She was asleep with her mouth open, snoring away. I thought, that's a familiar sound.
Oh, here we go.
Like mother, like son. It was exactly the same snoring sound. Isn't that strange?
Yeah.
Duncan's mum was snoring, and it sounded exactly like Mr. Duncan when he's snoring.
Yes. Well, I suppose there's a family resemblance, but families. I always think, and I think this might be something that a lot of people do, Steve.
Yes.
If you can just stay with me for a second.
No, it's so interesting. The live chat is so lively today. There's so much information. Yes.
Families are very interesting. I always assume, or I used to assume many years ago, that everyone had a perfect family, except for me. Now, I'm not going to criticise my family too much, but I always thought that my family was a bit rubbish sometimes, and I always assumed everyone else had the perfect family. But as I got older, I realised that's not true, because everyone has a rubbish family at some point. So because people are together, especially when you're growing up, you're in a family environment, it's impossible to always get along or be friendly with each other. So I always thought when I was young that I had the worst family in the world. But now, of course, I realise that my family was pretty cool at the time. So it is strange, isn't it? So what about you, Steve? Do you have that strange sort of feeling that maybe your family was the only family that was...
Dysfunctional? Is that the phrase you want to use?
That's a good word.
Dysfunctional. Families that don't seem to work well are often described as being dysfunctional.
Yes. A lot of people say, you might think of The Simpsons.
Dysfunctional. So
Yes.
you would expect parents to behave in a certain way towards their children and the children to behave in a certain way. And if they don't do that, you can describe it as dysfunctional. You know, you might have a parent that isn't really looking after the children properly or
Yes.
something like that. Anyway, no, I would say, see, my family were a very sort of what I would describe as a very traditional family based on the fact that many years ago, you know, the traditional family was the man went to work, the husband went to work, the wife stayed at home looking after the children and doing the housework. That was our family setup. Obviously things have changed over the years. Mum did go out to work when I was older, but certainly not when we were younger. So we didn't see very much of Dad except at the weekends.
Yes. So
Because Dad was at work, he came home late, we were usually in bed, and we'd play with Dad at the weekends, but normally it was Mum that was the person that was always there looking after us, cooking the food. That's all I remember, Mum, cooking, doing housework, cooking, doing housework. That Mum was that traditional role.
yes, that certainly is. I suppose nowadays people would see that as slightly old-fashioned, but I think I think you're right. See, my parents, because my parents were my family was not wealthy. In fact, the complete opposite of wealthy. So both of them, at some point, would have to go out to work. Sometimes they would work at the same time, and we had to look after ourselves at home. So I think that gives you some idea of why I am the way I am.
By the way, Mr. Duncan, we've got to be careful
Why?
talking about mathematics
Why?
because we have a maths teacher.
Really?
A maths teacher is here with us today live.
Where are you?
Juan Productions. Pay attention, Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve. I'm a maths teacher. Well,
Juan Productions.
yes. So we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful that we. But maybe, Juan, maybe you will concur. There's a good word.
If you concur, you agree.
You agree. Maybe you will concur when I say that there is a difference between mathematics and arithmetic.
I think arithmetic is more about. Would I say that that's more about working out formulas?
Numbers.
Oh, numbers. So
Numbers.
that's the numbers. So arithmetic is numbers.
Adding up, subtraction,
And what is-
multiplying.
Mathematics is used in science.
Mathematics is all the other things like the formulas, logarithms, I would say probably algebra. It's more sort of theoretical, whereas I think arithmetic you would define as being adding up, subtraction.
Anyway, we're looking at.
Anyway, we're looking at that. We're looking at that later.
Yes. We're doing.
By the way, Tomek's back from Poland.
Okay,
By
good.
the way, and says that he likes doing chores. He
Okay.
likes doing chores because it is a distraction away from problems that he has in his life.
Oh, well, I think so.
Well, yeah, because if you can do something that takes up a lot of your mental energy, that's my representation of mental energy.
This is what the inside of Mr. Steve's brain looks like.
It's a mess. It's a jumbled up mess.
Mm.
So yes, that can take away stress and anxiety sometimes. I find that. Do something that really takes your attention away.
Yeah.
You have to concentrate on. I don't think putting things in the dishwasher is enough
No.
for that
So
therapy.
yeah, I think we all do it. We all have a way of distracting ourselves. Some people go on the internet and look at videos. Some people like to do other things like go outside. So there are many ways of distracting yourself.
See, that's why Nitram is good at science and is very well educated and knows all about science, because what a difference it makes if you have a good maths teacher. My maths teacher at high school was amazing.
Mhm.
He would give us his own time, and we are friends to this day and do meet up.
Yeah.
That's it. You see, if you have a good teacher, you understand the subject, and then the subject becomes, you enjoy it then. I remember when I went to redo my maths O-level, I went to a different college, and the teacher was amazing. Suddenly it was like a door had opened, and suddenly I understood what it was all about. And the importance of teachers. So I hope you're a good teacher, Juan.
Yes.
And you don't just look after the people that because some people are very good at maths automatically. They sort of got an instinct for it. But the ones that don't, they need a bit of help, like me, like you.
I am what you might call numerically blind. I have some strange blindness when it comes to mathematics. I don't know why. I can do simple arithmetic, simple mathematics with adding things and taking them away, but anything other than that, anything more complicated. Okay, Steve.
Federica is one. Yeah,
I'm
go
just
on, yeah.
talking at the moment, Steve.
Really?
Just so. Okay, presenter, guest. That's what happens, you see. Anyway, I can't even remember what I'm talking about now.
You were talking about maths at school.
Yes, maths at school. Oh, actually, I wasn't talking about maths at school, but there you go.
Dishwashers,
No.
chores.
No. Anyway, live chat. Anything interesting?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm only joking. Yes, people are commenting about the fact that, some people like doing chores, other people don't. And Nitram, some people here have, we know Nitram's very good at maths.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Okay.
umbrella term means.
Okay, I will carry on talking now.
Go on then.
I don't know what that was. Yes, I'm numerically blind. However, I was really good at English. I'm pretty good at English. I'm very good at remembering words, the spelling of words sometimes, and the meaning of words. So I and this is very strange. This is very strange because I had extra English lessons when I was at school, when I was at secondary school, because they discovered that I was having difficulty reading. And this is true. So they actually gave me extra English classes, reading classes, spelling classes, pronunciation classes, everything. And because of that, I became quite good at English. So I always did very well at English. However, I always did really badly at mathematics.
I'm one of those people that are sort of can do a bit of everything, but I'm not really brilliant at anything. So I can do a bit of maths, English, geography. I can do a bit of everything, but I'm not brilliant at anything, at any one of them. So you find that with people, don't you? Some people can sort of are good at can do a bit of everything.
Yes.
But they're not experts at one thing. Whereas you get some people who are like naturally talented and brilliant in one area, but then they're rubbish in other areas.
Yes.
Maybe that's the case with you, Mr. Duncan.
I'm quite good at English.
You're a
but
genius. An English genius.
maybe I'm a savant.
Yes.
Have you heard of that? A savant. A savant is a person who is it they have a natural ability at something that's unexplainable.
I think so. Yes, I think so. It's like somebody who can just play a piano.
A wunderkind.
Yes, can just play a piano and they've had no lessons, and nobody, you don't know how could they possibly do that. It's like somebody who's naturally good at maths. I mean, every child that's born now is naturally good at an iPhone, aren't they?
Yes.
Or technology, because they just sort of, I don't know. It must be. I think it is passed in through the genes somehow. But
Yes.
but
Well, you see babies now. I mean, I'm not joking. You see babies playing with tablet devices. There is now a type of tablet device. It looks like an iPad, but it looks like it's made for very small children. And now there are little babies who are still in the pram or the cot, and they've got this giant iPad and they're learning how to use it, and they're just babies. It's incredible.
I know it's good to know. I think sort of I don't know what our Prime Minister means about getting people to learn mathematics. I think he means arithmetic, because most maths, algebra, logarithms, and all that, it's not much use in everyday life, is it?
No.
Because you've got a calculator now, but what's useful in everyday life is being able to add things up, subtract things, work out what, if there's 10% or something in a sale.
Yes. We're going to look at this anyway.
Yeah, but that's so I think arithmetic, which is probably, let's say it's a branch of mathematics.
Yeah. So
it might not be, but
I think the big one is working things out in your head, which is another thing we're going to look at. Talking of Rishi Sunak, I think he wants to say hello to us.
Hi everyone.
Oh, isn't that nice? Thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? He came in to say hello to us.
because we're so famous in the UK
Yes.
that is he on your blog? Is he on your one of your channels, Mr. Duncan?
What?
What's the word I'm thinking about? Facebook. That's it. Are you connected in Facebook, or is it TikTok with Mr. Sunak? One of the two.
It's everything.
Everything. You're connected everywhere.
It's OnlyFans.
Right.
He registered with my OnlyFans site.
He looks like he'd be the sort of person that would. When are we going to get invited to number 10?
Steve, moving on. Emin is talking about all the other different types of mathematics. So you have algebra. Now that's Arabic, isn't it?
Well, somebody pointed this out. A lot of maths was invented in Arabia and in the Middle East.
Well, even the numbers.
Thousands of years ago.
The numbers you can see here. So they are based on Arabic designs. So the original formation of numbers was the number of angles or corners that each pictograph had, and that's how numbers became numbers. So it's a lot of it. Yes, a lot of it is Arabic. You are right. So there is. I don't know any of these subjects, by the way. Algebra. No,
Isn't that formulas?
And wait there, Steve. We've got a whole list here. Geometry. I think that's the shape of things. Angles.
Yes.
Is that right? Angles.
That's correct, Mr.
Oh,
Duncan.
that's good. And then there is trigonometry. Now, trigonometry, I think that is relating to things as they are from your view. Is that right? Maybe from a building or the angle of something that is standing upright. I'm sure somebody will. And then there is planimetry. That sounds like maybe something to do with astronomy, stars, planets, maybe. And then stereometry.
Stereometry, probably.
Stereometry. Okay, then. Well, I'm seeing these words for the first time.
You should have seen that before, Mr. Duncan.
I haven't seen stereometry before. Trust me.
You probably have. It's probably not one that you would normally talk about.
Is that where you go
when you're
around people's
teaching.
houses and help them repair their hi-fi?
It must be to do with sort of, maybe it's to do with who knows? We don't know. We're guessing.
I get the feeling Steve doesn't know as well.
I don't know. No,
Steve also doesn't know.
Isn't trigonometry sort of angles and things like that?
Yeah, so is it similar then?
Well, they use that a lot. You see, my father was very good at maths.
Yes.
Because
So they have those things, don't they? I've seen a man walking around a field, and he has that thing, a theodolite. And I think that's connected, isn't it, to trigonometry?
I don't know, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
We shouldn't show our ignorance.
No, I'm not showing my ignorance. I'm asking a question.
It's sort of working out distances and angles and things like that, isn't it?
I've never worked,
according to a formula.
I've never been an architect or a designer, so I don't know.
See, my father was a sailor.
Okay. Oh.
For great part of his life.
Hello, sailor.
But he was a navigator.
Okay.
So, and we're talking back in the 1940s and 50s. So he would have had to use trigonometry to work out distances from places that they have sextants.
Oh, really?
And you work out angles.
I
And
believe there was quite a lot of sextants on the Navy boats.
And my father had to work out how far it was to somewhere, or distances based on, trigonometry and working out distances and using sextants and things.
Yes.
There were no sort of sat navs or radar or anything like that around when my father was at sea. He was very clever at that. He's very good at maths, my father. Which makes me wonder why he didn't teach me. He probably tried, but I probably didn't listen.
You were probably a terrible student.
Probably.
Yes. So, and of course, before then, they used to use the stars. The stars in the sky.
My father did when he was at sea.
Okay. Is there anything your father didn't do?
Well, that's how they worked out where they were. They even back in the 1950s, they were still using the position of the stars to work out where the ship was.
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it, to think that? It's not that long ago, really.
Yes. Full steam ahead to Uranus.
Trigonometry is sines and cosines. There we go, blimey. I used to have a scientific calculator when I was at school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you use it?
Well, I needed a degree to work out how to use the scientific calculator.
Yes,
that was the problem. It had all the things on it like cosines and sines, but I didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do anyway.
Yeah.
You've got to know what to do, which buttons to press.
Yes. I find in life it's always best if you know what to do. So here is, well, we just mentioned calculators. There you go.
Look at that, Mr. Duncan.
So there is my rinky-dink calculator, and you can see there are some. Now, this is not a scientific calculator. I will say now that it isn't. But you can see that there are some mathematical or arithmetic buttons on there, and I'm sure they are all familiar to you. So we will be looking at this a little bit later on. So don't go away.
Are we going to be able to work out how much money you'll earn from this live stream?
Well, I can work that out now. Nothing. Zero. Zero.
I'm
Nothing.
joking, Mr. Duncan.
Zilch. Ling, as they say in Chinese. Ling means zero.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yes. Somebody made a good comment about. I can't remember where it's gone now. There's so
Okay.
many comments on the live stream today.
Yes.
I'm finding it difficult to follow it.
Juan Production says, I love maths. It's a great product of human creativity, just like music
Hence,
and painting. I suppose so. Yes. Well, I suppose nowadays, when you think about it, because everything is becoming technology based, I would say that you do need to have an understanding, especially when you are doing things connected to computers, coding. Now, I'm not sure, because I'm not a coder. I don't do coding, and that means you are writing programs, because there is a specific language that is used for that. But I don't think that is quite the same thing as maths or arithmetic. So that is almost like its own language, isn't it?
yes. I think from what I understand, arithmetic is just to do with numbers, adding up, division, multiplying, taking away, and then maths is everything else.
Yes.
Is what I understand. But
Well, I'm on about coding.
yeah, I know. Well, that probably comes from mathematics, doesn't it? I
Yes.
think. I don't know.
So I think it is a kind of language, though. So it's an interesting subject, and one that always makes my eyes go blank whenever I think about it, just like maths, really. So we are talking about that.
We're talking about. We're not teaching maths, are we?
Well, no,
No, we're just teaching phrases connected with
that's
it.
That's why it's called English Addict,
Exactly.
and not Maths Addict.
I wonder if there is a maths addict channel.
Well, yeah, there's loads and loads. There's hundreds of thousands of people now teaching maths on YouTube.
Well, you don't need teachers anymore, do you? This is
No.
and you were saying the other day about these algorithms that if you want to write an essay, say you're a student and you want an essay writing in something, say you wanted an essay writing in 2,000 words on trigonometry, you just put that into a search engine somewhere and it just writes it for you, doesn't it?
Yes, but it does it badly. It doesn't, because it doesn't know the difference between things that are true and things that are false or made up. So that's the only problem. So a lot of students might think that they will be able to cheat when they are writing their essays by using artificial intelligence. The only problem is the artificial intelligence doesn't know the difference between truth and things that are fictitious. So that's the problem. So be very careful if you are planning to write your essay and give it to your teacher.
Amit says, have you watched the film The Man Who Knew Infinity?
No,
No, I haven't. What's the sign for infinity? Isn't it sort of that?
it's a number 8 on its side.
Yeah, that's it. It's a number 8 on its side.
It goes on.
Infinity.
It just means forever and ever and ever and ever, like this live stream, really.
Sometimes it feels like they're going on into
for-
infinity.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, there's an interesting question that Nitram will no doubt have thought about, because he's so clever. Is the universe infinite? That's
Well,
a question
yes.
often posed by experts in the field, because if it is, that poses all sorts of issues, and probability then becomes everything that could happen can happen.
I think-
it's just fascinating. Anyway, we're not talking about that.
I think Steve has been watching too much Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think so.
I didn't get that from there. I read that from ages ago.
Oh, okay. Well,
That,
yesterday.
Yes, that if something is infinite, if the universe is infinite, it means that anything within the realms of probability, and according to the laws of science, could actually and will in fact happen.
Yes. Well,
It's inevitable if it's infinite. Even if
That's
it's
it.
close to infinite, it will happen. And it means things like you and I will exist somewhere else again in another part of the universe, because there is a probability of that happening exactly as we are. And that means if it's infinite, it will happen.
So somewhere in the universe, there might be a live stream that's actually interesting that we're presenting.
No, it'll be exactly the same live stream.
Yes.
Exactly the same. Because there is a very, very small probability that that could actually happen. But if the universe is infinite, it means it will eventually happen.
Okay.
So we are actually truly all immortal.
Except we're not.
We are, because
No.
we exist again.
Yeah, we don't know. Because you don't know it.
You don't know it, I mean.
The root of all existence is consciousness. And once the consciousness is gone, there is no existence.
Physics, oh my goodness.
You can't reanimate existence or consciousness. It can only be there or not be there. Oh, dear.
Ah, yes, but anyway, right, we won't go into that.
Yeah.
Physics, Emin, is like maths. Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's it. You've got to be good at maths to be able to do physics, and probably chemistry as well, which is why I did biology, because you don't need to be good at maths to be able to study biology.
Yes. You don't need to know how long somebody's tibia is.
Well, you don't need to, whereas in physics, you've got to know your maths, you've got to know your formula. I remember when I went from O-level maths at 16, O-level physics to A-level physics, which is A-levels, you stop, they're just before university, so
Quite
at 18.
advanced.
I couldn't do it. I had to give it up after 2 months. It was too difficult
Yes.
because I wasn't good at maths. The same with chemistry. I loved chemistry, but I only liked the practical side, the experiments.
Yes.
Watching
things blow up.
Yes, I wanted to be a chemist actually, but never happened because I wasn't clever enough.
But that's it, isn't it? But when you become advanced in anything, and I think this is another interesting point to mention, anything that's advanced, any form of study, it's interesting. You eventually end up, or you eventually meet some form of maybe mathematics or arithmetic. So even looking at the stars, you might think looking at the stars is just lovely, but you also need to be able to work out mathematical equations, because it's all about time, isn't it? And distance, how far something is travelling, how fast it's going, how long it will take to reach a certain place. So the speed of light, of course. We often talk of light years. So that is based completely on mathematics, would you say?
186,000 miles per second.
That's incredible.
Always remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Of course, I don't know what that is in kilometres. It was about 3 times that, isn't it, probably?
I don't know.
No, not 3 times that, no. It's probably about 250, 300 kilometres per second.
I'm going to edit all these bits out.
I don't know what the conversion from miles to kilometres is, but you add about 30%, don't you?
I don't know. I hate kilometres. I hate them. I love miles.
We don't know kilometres.
I love miles. Miles are great. I love feet. Feet and inches. I love them so much, but I do not like meters, yards and kilometres. I don't like them at all.
Well, yeah, right, anyway, yes. Well, I don't mind meters because it's quite close to a yard.
Okay.
But centimetres, I don't mind that because centimetres or inches, I don't mind. But I don't like kilometres because it doesn't mean anything to me. If somebody says to me, "Oh, look, we're going to this next town. It's 30 kilometres away," it's no meaning to me.
I don't know what that means.
I know it's about 20 miles.
I can see 10 miles. 10 miles, yes, I get the idea. But if you said 15 kilometres, I would have no idea what you were talking about. Nothing.
No, Saturino, actually, no, I wasn't talking about parallel dimensions. That's a different thing altogether. I was just talking about just this dimension that we're in now.
Yes.
If it's infinite, if there is no end to the universe, then it means that any probability of anything occurring will happen, no matter how small it is, given enough time.
Yeah.
Parallel universes is a different thing.
Yes. So that's things. Everything's happening at the same time, but in slightly different ways. Is that right? Anyway,
Anyway, we're getting complicated
This is
now,
not
yes.
what we're talking about today, Steve, and I can see the viewing figures dropping like a stone.
No, they're not.
So, we're talking about...
Don't encourage other people to leave as well.
Well, I'm not. I'm not encouraging anyone to leave.
No one's leaving. Everyone's here.
I'm not encouraging anyone to leave.
So we're talking about what, Mr. Duncan? Your chores? Are we talking about the chores that you're going to be doing?
We've done that.
What about your new health regime?
I mentioned that earlier. I'm going
heard.
from tomorrow morning. I'm going to start having my morning porridge again. My lovely sticky porridge.
Well,
that's all right. It's all right, Steve. This is the problem, you see. Can I just let you in on a little secret? Whenever I do anything, even if it's a positive thing, Steve will find a problem with it. He'll say, yes, you're doing that, but it's not quite right, is it?
I'll scoff
He will make fun
at
of
his attempts.
He will make fun of
If
me.
you scoff, you're laughing, you're scoffing, you're taking the mickey, aren't
Yes,
you?
yes, you're being unkind.
You're being unkind. No, I fully support your attempts to get fit and healthy.
The story is, a couple of days ago, I got up in the morning and I took my T-shirt off, and then I looked down and I saw something that startled me. Can you guess what it was? It was something big. It was something that was sticking out in front of me, and I was quite alarmed by it. It was my big, fat stomach. And I decided to see if I could hold it. And so I put my hands underneath, and I was horrified. I can't begin to tell you how horrified I was, but I could hold my stomach. I could hold the fat in my hand, and I've never been able to do that before. So that's it. I thought, oh God, I think I had better lose some weight.
And I think you need to have your cholesterol checked as well.
Yes, we're okay.
Well-
One step at a time.
I mean, you've got the new boots. You
Yeah.
showed those, the new boots. So that means you can romp up the hills without slipping over on the mud. Although you nearly broke your ankle, didn't you? First time out in the new boots.
Yeah, it's the first time we walked out with my new boots, and I slipped, and I nearly broke my ankle.
Yes. His ankle leg fell over into a hole.
My
that was
ankle
covered
leg.
with leaves, and you twisted it. It was swollen up.
It's still a bit painful, but not too bad. I'm okay. Do you want to see something?
I was going to say, you'll know when you've lost enough weight, Mr. Duncan, because when you look down, you'll be able to see your feet. And once you can see your feet when you look down...
Well, I can always see my feet because they're so big.
All right, then what else is hidden normally by a large expanse, by having a big gut?
My dingle dangle.
That's it. So when you can see that, Mr. Duncan, you know you've lost enough weight.
So when my dingle dangle reappears...
Do you have to do that?
Well,
that's so rude.
Well, that's a dingle dangle.
I know, but...
That's what they call it, a dingle dangle. So when my dingle dangle reappears, I know I'm losing weight. Okay.
Fine, okay.
But do you want to see something really weird? And it is not my dingle dangle. It is something Mr. Steve got, something you received at Christmas time. And it's a plant. But when you got it,
Yes.
it hadn't
The
grown.
amaryllis.
Yes, it hadn't grown. I'm going to show it now. There it is. There it is, look.
The amaryllis plant.
But look at it now. I don't know what is happening. This is a very creepy plant because it's huge now.
In 1 week,
Yeah,
well, since I planted it only a week ago,
yes.
it had no leaves, and within 1 week it is now already, it's growing about 1 centimetre a day.
Yes, every day. In fact, last night I was washing one of the dishes, and it moved. The plant actually moved. The 2 leaves that you can see there forming, it opened up. It moved. So I was actually seeing it grow right in front of my eyes.
It is quite freaky.
It is.
It is growing at a rate that I've never seen a plant grow at before. Maybe bamboo. And before anyone asks about this amaryllis, they might say, oh, you've got that in a very small pot, Mr. Steve.
Mhm.
Well, apparently that's what you are supposed to do. You are not supposed to put them in a big pot. They like being in a small pot, and you don't water them very much.
So we were both surprised just how fast this particular plant is growing. It's almost like witchcraft.
There were no leaves at all a week ago, and now it's done that.
In fact, it's grown since yesterday. It's actually slightly larger since yesterday. So that's amazing. I would have loved to have had a camera filming that every day, and so we could have actually watched it grow, but I didn't.
Well, apparently, Vittoria, what you do is that you've got to be careful with those bulbs that you don't overwater them, otherwise they rot.
Beatrice said you need a bigger pot.
No, you don't. I've just
No.
explained why. It tells you specifically in the instructions not to put it in a big pot.
Yes.
Because I think what happens is that, well, it rots, I think, because the soil gets too wet and it will rot. So it told me specifically in the instructions, only put it in a pot that's just slightly bigger than the bulb itself.
Yes.
And then leave a third of the bulb above the surface of the soil, because otherwise it rots. So, well, I must be doing something right because it's grown that much in a week.
It's incredible. But it's so creepy. I've never seen a plant ever grow ever as fast as that. It's really strange.
Nitram said, I'd be more worried about the giant ladybird. Yes, so we've got freakily large ladybirds growing as well as the plants.
Yes, we have. Oh, yes, of course. Next to the
Next to it, yes.
I just realised. Yes, of course. Let's have a look, shall we? Where is it? There it is. And the robin.
And the robin, but that ladybird does look a little. Yes, if ladybirds were that big, they'd be trying to suck liquids out of us.
Yes,
I don't know about the plant.
they'd be carrying babies away.
Oh no, they eat aphids, don't they?
They do.
Ladybirds, they eat little aphids.
Yes.
Well, maybe I'll get aphids on the amaryllis, and then the ladybird will climb up and eat the aphids.
Yes. We are approaching our subject, Mr. Steve.
Is it 3:20 already?
20 past 3. We've been on for 1 hour and 23 minutes. Can you believe it? It always goes fast. Everyone says, Mr. Duncan, it's not fair. Your live stream goes by so quickly, and it always seems to be over very fast. But yes, we are coming back. We're having a quick break. I'm going to have a little drink of water, and then we will be back, and we are looking at today's specialist subject.
Will we have time for you know what?
Not today. We have tons. We have lots and lots of maths.
Other things to test your brain,
Yes.
right?
There will be a lot of testing taking place. So please don't go away. we have to get away somewhere. Seeing that lovely video of us playing on the beach makes me want to go somewhere, go on holiday, maybe somewhere lovely and sunny. Yeah. We are back.
Talking of healthy regimes, or regimes, as they would say in America.
Regime.
Regime, yes. Before I came on the live stream today, Mr. Duncan, I don't normally eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that as the live stream progresses, my energy levels fade away. So I decided today I would have something healthy and sustaining.
Yes.
I had a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Brown bread, lightly toasted, with a big dollop of peanut butter, smooth peanut butter.
That's a good word.
Because there's a bit of carbohydrate there and some protein, and I'm hoping that will sustain my energy levels, sustain them, keep them maintained.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the live stream. So far, it's going well.
It's going very well.
I feel energetic.
I love that word, by the way, dollop. Dollop. It means a big quantity of something in one complete pile. A pile of something. You give someone.
Yes, you normally sort of throw it down, don't you? And
Yes.
it makes like a dollop of ice cream.
Or a dollop of mashed potatoes.
That's it. You sort of whack it onto the plate.
That's
There's
it.
a big dollop.
Dollop. A large quantity. And normally it's given in a very careless way. Dollop. I love that.
Because it makes a noise as it goes down.
Anyway, we have today's subject, and it's a subject that I know causes a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of difficulty for all sorts of people. Today we are looking at the subject of mathematics. Oh no, what is going on? I don't know what's happening. I'm trapped in the world of maths. And that is what we're looking at today. Welcome everyone. If you just joined us, by the way, you've come at a very interesting point because we are now looking at today's subject. The subject is maths, mathematics, the way in which we work out things connected to numbers. And I know you're going to say arithmetic.
If we were in America,
Yeah.
Mr. Duncan, we would say math, wouldn't
Yes.
we? We
Well,
wouldn't put the S on.
I am about to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought I was being clever there, but obviously not.
No, that is clever. Look at that. Look at the design
Mr.
there.
Duncan.
Do you like my design there?
What are all those pluses and minuses? Oh, I see,
M
yes.
plus A minus T times H equals S. It's maths. That's what we're looking at today.
Or math,
Yes.
if you're in America.
I'm about to explain
Okay.
that. I seem to be repeating myself.
Well, the thing is, I don't know why we bother with American English, because we'd never have anybody from America watching.
No, but there are people learning American English who are not in America. So they're the ones learning it.
Well, they should be learning British English.
They should be, yes. It should be compulsory.
Yes.
So here we go, the word maths. And as Steve rightly said, in American English, they will say math. Math. M-A.
Because they're wrong.
M-A-T-H. We normally use it as, well, the subject, of course, is possessive. So you might say that it's belonging to maths, but it's just a general way of saying anything connected to mathematics.
Because there isn't a word, you wouldn't just say mathematic, would you? You wouldn't say mathematic.
No,
So for them for the Americans to shorten it to math, well, they just like shortening things, don't they?
well, it's a bit more complicated than that, Steve.
Well, I think it's laziness.
Yes,
They don't want to say maths. They just want to go math.
yes.
Is easier to say than maths.
Well, they see it as a perfect abbreviation, you see, whereas we use it as a plural. So maths is everything connected to that subject.
We're correct, they're wrong.
Anyway, we have maths, we have mathematics, which is the term that most people use when they are, I suppose if you're being formal about it, you will say mathematics. We also have arithmetic. And this is interesting. This is what Steve was saying earlier. Now you have the chance, you see, to say what you said earlier.
I should have waited.
Yes, well, I did tell you.
I was itching to get in there with a comment. If you say you're itching to say something, it means you can't wait. You can't wait to say something. It's like an itch. You can't wait to scratch. I can't wait to say something. Itching to say something. Oh, teacher, let me say something. Oh,
Okay.
I'm itching to make a comment.
Okay. Somebody please phone an ambulance. So we have arithmetic. Again, Steve.
Yes.
So what you said earlier.
Well, I've said it. No. Yeah, that's it. So yes, arithmetic, as far as I'm aware, is to do with, as you say, sums, adding up.
Oh, yeah, we're going to look at that as well. So arithmetic is generally linked to sums. There you go.
I'm not sure it's equations, but anyway.
And we have, no, I'm not saying it is. Who said it was?
Well, it's on your slide.
Yeah, these are words that I'm going to mention.
Okay. Oh, I see. Right, okay,
So,
right.
Do I have to explain the format of the programme?
But I thought because of the way it was spatially laid out.
Yes, well,
Fine,
they're divided.
Arithmetic, yes. Arithmetic, yes, I would see as adding up, taking away, subtracting.
That's it.
That's the same thing.
And then we have sums.
Sums.
So they might be problems that you have to solve.
Yes. What is 10 plus 1? That is a sum.
I have no idea.
Yes.
And then we have an equation, which I think often forms the result of something. Would you say? The equation. So
yes.
the formula or the way of getting from your question to your answer. So the equation is the question leading to an answer.
That's a number of variables. You put them together in a certain order and then you get a result from that.
I think so.
Like E equals mc squared, for example.
Okay.
There's an equation for you.
Yes.
Or is that a formula?
Anyway, here we go. Sorry. David Starkey was supposed to come in then. Like this. That sort of thing.
That's indicative. So whenever we say something and we're showing our ignorance about something,
yes. Or if we're not sure.
If we're not sure, that's what we'll do.
We'll do this.
That's what. That was a look I used to get a lot from my maths teacher.
That was Professor David Starkey.
Yes.
Looking really disappointed with us.
Yeah, exactly, because we're you couple of idiots.
Moving on.
Moving on, yes.
Quickly as possible. Dear. Here's another one, Steve, then. A numerical problem. A numerical problem. So you might have a problem that needs to be solved using...
Numbers.
Numerical problem. So you might say that in general mathematics, in general working out a problem to come up with an answer, a numerical problem, or maybe a scientific equation. Oh, fancy pants, Mr. Duncan.
Or a formula.
Yes. So in science, as we mentioned earlier, in science you will often find maths is in there. It's all bound in there. It's like baking a cake.
Nitram is posing a numerical problem.
Yes.
Because he's asking what is 1 plus 1 most times in the world. 1 plus 1. He's saying it's not 2.
Oh, I know.
Is it computers?
Yes, I'm not sure if it is computers or if there's another thing going around as well, which talks about that particular question. So he might be going with the binary thing, you see.
Ah, right.
I wonder if he's using the binary system. Yes, maybe.
Oh, right.
Maybe.
So what is the answer then?
Yes, perhaps.
And I'm sure Nitram didn't mean 1 times 1, which is 1.
No, it's 1 plus
1. Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe he'll tell us.
Maybe, Nitram, you would tell us and give an explanation.
Moving on, Steve.
Of the answer.
I've got loads of things to show. The skill of using numbers is numeracy. And And this is the thing that kids, young people are leaving school and they have no ability whatsoever to use. That's really annoying me. Let me just do that. I don't know what Steve's done there. That's better.
Not me.
Steve's giant fingers
I haven't done
are
anything.
doing things. So the skill of using numbers is numeracy. But the problem is, apparently, lots of kids are leaving school here in this country and they have no idea how to use numbers, add numbers together or take them away from each other.
So is that a synonym of arithmetic?
Well, numeracy is the skill, the actual skill of doing it. Having numeracy is the ability, the actual ability to think of numbers, use numbers, and of course work out problems connected with numbers. The word mathematics derives from the Greek word for scientific. Did you know that?
No.
So scientific or science, facts or anything connected to science. So the word maths.
Saturino's put that in.
Oh, I see.
Yes, as well.
Mathema, yes. So the scientific way of looking at things. And of course, when you think of the Greeks, we do think a lot of maths and mathematicians.
We do. And nice beaches.
Yes. There was the guy that woke up in the bath and he went, oh my goodness, it's all shriveled up. The field of mathematics uses many different forms of equation and also results. So there are many ways of working things out. And this is where I get confused, you see, with mathematics and arithmetic, working things out using numbers. And of course, you have lots of ways of doing that. And as you go on and on into the subject, Steve, it becomes more and more complex, doesn't it?
You mean a bit like maths itself?
Yes, everything. It becomes very complicated. So mathematics is taught in all schools at varying levels of difficulty. And I'm talking about this country, of course. And I would imagine in most countries that we often talk about the basic skills needed to survive in this world. We often say the 3 R's, even though it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Reading, writing, and arithmetic. So only one of those words begins with R.
Yes, we always used to say that. You've got to know the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Arithmetic.
Yes.
But they don't. But writing in arithmetic don't begin with R.
But it sounds good when you say you've got to know your 3 R's.
Yes. It's not a good start, by the way.
By the way, we've got somebody new watching us from Korea.
Hello, Korea.
Yes, and we're trying to find out, because they're writing obviously in Korean. We don't. It's midnight there, by the way.
It's very late.
So well done for staying up and watching us at midnight. And we're waiting to see what your name is, or what name you would give yourself in sort of British English. But yeah.
Mathematics is taught in all schools, and I would imagine around the world. I would think that it will be taught in many places around the world as well. So here we go, Steve. Would you like to get down to it? Do you want to get down to the
Get down and dirty?
basic mathematics?
No, we're not teaching mathematics. Let's stress this again. We are not teaching mathematics.
We're teaching English.
Words connected, English words connected with mathematics.
Yes, I think everyone's got that now.
I know, I'm just double checking that somebody doesn't just drop into the channel and thinks that we're teaching maths.
Yes,
we're
it's
not.
English. English addict. English is what we talk about. And so the subject is maths today. Adding together. So this is the one, isn't it? I remember when I was at school, the first thing I was taught, besides how to stand up when I'm having a wee-wee, was how to add up. Add things together. Numbers. So I think that's the most basic one, isn't it? And we had the question earlier from Nitram, but also we have other ways of teaching and learning, and quite often we will learn from an early age. So I think I started learning maths at around 5 years old. What about you, Steve?
I can't remember. It probably was, yes. By the way, the answer to 1 + 1 in computer speak is 0.
Oh, I was right.
He's so clever. Yeah, so that's the answer.
I feel
Florence is going. Nice to see you too.
my day is so perfect now because of that. Wow, I was right. So adding together, we often call that addition.
Yes.
Addition. So
Adding up.
addition is putting one number, and we are adding it to another number to come up with the answer. So this is the one. I can do this. I'm good at this one.
1 plus 1 in a non-computer world is obviously 2.
Yes.
So this is adding. What's 1,174 plus 1,100,072? We don't know, but that is addition.
Oh, good.
And I don't know what I was talking about then.
Well, why break a habit of a lifetime? That's what I say. Now we have taking away.
Taking away.
Taking away.
So I've got some things in this hand and nothing in this hand, but if I take some away, some will go into that hand. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, something like that. Subtraction. You take one figure away from another. So normally a smaller figure, a smaller number is taken away from a larger number. So normally, but of course it is possible to do it the other way around as well, where you actually end up with below 0, which is minus. But that is a whole different ball game.
So if you started the live stream and you had 165 people watching, and then you then looked at the live stream 2 hours later and you only had one person watching, how many people would have left the live stream?
Yes.
That type of thing.
It's just a typical live stream, really.
Purely speculative.
So taking away is often referred to as subtraction. You are taking one number away from another and coming up with an answer. Now here's another one that I'm sometimes good at.
Yes.
The next one, Steve. Multiplying.
Multiplying.
As they said in the Bible, go forth and multiply.
Yes.
Multiplication is having one thing that you then multiply by another thing. So, for example, you might have 2 and you multiply it by 2.
4.
That's it. That's
And of
good.
course,
Thank you, Steve.
At school,
I wasn't asking you.
at school, we had to know our multiplication tables,
Again.
didn't we?
Again.
Oh, okay, right. You're coming on to that, right?
Oh.
By the way, it's Ginny is our new person watching from Korea.
Hello, Ginny.
I presume South Korea.
Kwon Un Bin.
Yes. We're assuming it's South. We're assuming it's South Korea because obviously you probably wouldn't have a connection if you were in North Korea. But yes, Mr. Duncan's going to come on to talk about the multiplication tape. Are you all right?
Mm-hmm. I'm back.
Right, I've just realised now. Look at this. Bring this bottle over, Mr. Duncan.
No, don't bring the bottle
Okay,
over.
then.
Let's carry on. We've only got 15 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna mark that bottle with a big X.
Okay. That stays in here anyway. So,
Not always.
multiplying, multiplication. There was a song, wasn't there? There was a song. Multiplication, it's the name of the game. It was all about love.
Oh, look, Palmyra's calculating her electricity figures.
Mm-hmm.
How much electricity is she using per month?
Mm-hmm.
So she's come up with 63 kilowatts
Okay.
per month.
That doesn't sound like much.
That's quite a lot, Mr.
Is it?
Duncan. That's like having an electric bar fire on for 63 hours
Oh, I see.
constantly.
Wow.
Because it's kilowatt hours, isn't it? It's measured in. So you could work that. You could therefore work out what your, if you were good at maths,
Yes.
you could work at, or good at arithmetic, you could work out. Because we often say that, or are you good at maths? But in fact, what you really mean is, are you good at arithmetic, or as you said, are you good at numeracy? So from that, Palmyra, if you know what you're charged per kilowatt hour and your standing daily rate, you will be able to work out what your electricity bill is.
Good. So multiplying, back to the what I'm talking about. And then finally, and this is the one I sometimes have difficulty with.
Yes.
I don't know why. I think it's those two dots. They just distract me. It looks like a snake coming towards me. I don't know why.
So you look right. Okay. Yeah.
Basic mathematics dividing, or as we often call it, division. Division. So you are dividing one number with another or by another. So
Like 6 divided by 2,
Hmm.
which is obviously 3.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. So dividing. So you're instead of adding, instead of putting two numbers together, instead of taking one number away from another, you are actually splitting a number by another number. So I like that, dividing. And of course, there is another subject called long division, which is the one that I'm not good at. I'm going to be honest, I can't do long division. I remember my maths teacher at secondary school and at high school, both of them, they used to get very frustrated when they were trying to explain long division.
So
to
what
me.
is long division then?
Well, long division is dividing a number by more than one number, isn't it?
Right.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Well, I just said I'm not very good at it.
You don't even know what it is. You
Don't-
can't be good at something if you don't even know what it is.
Don't ask me to explain something that I don't know what it is. But I hate long division.
You have a column of figures, don't you? And you have
Yes.
to keep dividing it. My mother was very good at numeracy.
Yes.
She was very good at arithmetic. She could add up a column of figures in no time because she used to work in an office, and I think it was the solicitor's office when she was younger. And of course, you didn't have calculators back in the 1940s or 1950s.
Just used her fingers.
Yeah, they had lots of people adding up columns of numbers, having to just literally, mum would just go through them all, carry that.
Did she make that noise?
I don't know, but
Did she go do 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 do?
my mother never used a calculator. She could divide, she could add up, multiply, particularly adding up columns of figures. She was very, very good at it.
She's certainly multiplied at least twice.
Yes. Oh, by the way, here we go. Says Victoria, a song from Greece, John Travolta. I've got chills. They're multiplying,
Yes,
and I'm losing control.
because the power you're supplying.
It's electrifying.
It's electrifying.
Yes. So yes, presumably you're excited by seeing somebody who's quite sexy.
Anyway.
And you get the oh yes, and then you get more and more and more of them, and then eventually you blow.
Sorry, do you?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yes, probably. Arithmetic can be done. Here we go, Steve. We're getting down to it now. Arithmetic can be done on paper or in one's head,
Yep.
up here, or on a machine like the one I showed you earlier. So when we think of modern machines that can do maths, we often think of, we think of calculators, don't we? That's what we actually think of. We think of calculators. They can do the maths. They can do it very easily. A lot of people like to cheat. As I understand it, Steve, I think nowadays, if you take an exam, I think you can actually take a calculator into the exam.
Yes, you couldn't when I was
No,
when we were at school back
Me-
in the 60s, 70s.
and me.
You couldn't use a calculator then. You weren't
What's the point?
allowed to. But I think you can now. Yes.
What's the point of having a mathematics exam if you can take a bloody calculator in? That's like having a history exam and they let you open Wikipedia. Although that might not be a good idea. So arithmetic can be done on paper, in one's head.
And you call that if you work out
No,
things.
I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, I'm preempting
Next-
everything that you're doing. Preempting.
Next week,
That's a
I'm
good
going to
word.
get Steve to prepare the live stream.
if you preempt something, that means you sort of you mention it before it's actually happened.
Yes.
So I am thinking of something,
Yeah.
and I want to say it, but Mr. Duncan has already got it on the next slide. So I'm preempting what he's saying,
Yes.
and which is often annoying for Mr. Duncan.
Or as I like to call it, ruining the show. So here we go. This is what Steve was about to say. If you do it in your head, is that what you were going to say?
I was.
Mental arithmetic.
It means that very cleverly you can work out sums in your head without having to use a piece of paper or a calculator. For example, you might go into a store, into a shop, and there is an item of clothing there that, say, was a nice skirt or a pair of trousers.
This must be very interesting when you go shopping for your skirts.
Yes. Well, let's say I was trying not to be sexist, but let's say there was a nice pair of Levi jeans that normally cost £165.
Okay.
And there's 10% off in the sale.
Yes,
so
but we're not doing that though.
I know, but that's mental arithmetic, and then
Okay.
you can say, well, that's going to cost me, yeah,
So you can work out how much something will cost with the reduction.
exactly. Or you might go into a shop, for example. Here's another one, and there might be a 1 litre bottle of juice.
Okay.
But or toilet paper. Here's a good one. They often do this to try and catch you out. So you've got a pack of 12 toilet papers, or you've got a pack of 4. So the pack of 12 normally would cost less, but there's an offer on the pack of 4, and they say if you buy two of these packs of 4, you'll get them at this price. So then you have to work out in your head, well, is it still cheaper to buy the bigger pack, or should I buy lots of the smaller packs? And often they try and catch you out like that, don't they? Because they know full well that you can't quickly work it out in your head, so you get tired and just pick one of the packs.
Well, actually, nowadays, you know, by law in this country, you have to state that though. You have to state how much each individual thing is.
Yeah, but I don't always trust it.
Oh, okay. I think there's a law that controls that now as well. So you
Yes.
can't mislead people. Weights and measures, you see, the weights and measures. So if you work something out in your head, we're using numbers, sums, it's mental arithmetic.
It's certainly mental. If you say something's mental, you mean it's stupid, don't you? Quite often you can use that phrase.
Actually, it's crazy, but
Crazy or stupid. That's mental, that is. Mental arithmetic's mental.
anyway. An early way of mechanical assistance involved the use of an abacus. Now, I think I'm going to get into trouble here. I always thought that it was the Chinese that came up with the abacus, basic working out numbers. But I think it might be the Japanese. So this might be a long-running dispute, Steve, between who came up with it first.
Is the abacus the one with beads on it?
It is. I'm going to show you it.
So who invented beads will probably give you the answer. There
Look
we
at
go.
that. There it is.
Ginny's going. So says thank you for the lesson today.
Okay.
And I think Lewis is going as well. I know Lewis is still here, I think. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Right, there's the abacus, Mr. Duncan. Lots of beads.
So this is an old-fashioned way, a very early way. In fact, I think it was the first way of working out things, sums, and working out the maybe the cost of something, or maybe if you were keeping a record of your stock, maybe if you are a shopkeeper, you might use an abacus. Way before the invention of the calculator and, of course, fingers. Fingers did not exist then. Everyone used their nose.
I use my fingers a lot to add up.
You do, especially your middle one. So
I always thought that the trouble with an abacus is that it's very susceptible to movement. So you put all these beads and you move them around, then somebody comes and gives you a nudge, and all the beads go everywhere, and you have to start again.
that's probably why we don't use them anymore.
Probably.
You don't see many people using an abacus anymore. If I was
We've woken Tomek up with the word abacus.
abacus,
Yes. Tomek's been doing his chores to distracted him from the horror of this live stream.
So these days, most people use electronic devices. Yes, as we saw earlier, the electronic device, such as a calculator, all you have to do is press the buttons, and then magically the answer will come up on the screen.
See, I never understand. There is a basic calculator, right? That's not a scientific calculator.
No, that's a basic one.
But it's got the square root symbol on there, hasn't it?
Okay.
Who ever uses that?
Yeah.
Why do you need a square root symbol on a what is a basic calculator?
So what is a square root?
Well, I don't know. Well, it's that it's
As I understand,
it's like a division, isn't it?
yes, but isn't it a perfect number that divides with itself?
I think you're right, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it is. Yes, I think you're right, Mr. Duncan.
I'm
yes.
starting to think
Is Nitram still here?
I'm starting to think that I'm better at maths
Or
than I think I am.
Belarussia said that she still uses her fingers to count numbers. So do I,
Yes,
Claudia.
Hello, Claudia.
So do I as well. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I do use my fingers still.
Yes, you do.
Well, they're there. I might as well use them.
And sometimes his toes
It's
as
my
well.
own abacus.
The only problem is when he has to count to 13, then it becomes a little embarrassing,
Tomek
unfortunately.
fell asleep and was woken up by the word abacus.
Abacus.
I wonder why.
I don't know. So these days, most people use electronic devices. Here's another one, Steve, that people do. Maybe you are going for a meal.
Oh,
and-
yes.
And maybe you're going for a meal and there are 4 people at that meal.
Yes.
And each person orders their food. Maybe one person has something to start the meal, and maybe 2 other people don't. And there are many ways of working out how to pay for the bill at the end. Sometimes they will work out how much each person has to pay. They will just divide that. But also they might work out the percentage of how much of the meal that person had. And of course, afterwards, when you get the bill, you have to pay the waiter or the person serving you. You then work out how much you want to give as a tip as well. So maybe you want to give the waiter a tip. So quite often percentages are actually quite important things.
You've hit on a subject here, which is probably I would say probably one of the times when people use maths the most is when they're going out for meals with friends.
Yes.
And isn't that always a subject of discussion? So there could be 4 of you there, you've gone out for a meal, and the bill comes to £100. Let's make it easier, $100. What do you do? So one person had a starter, another person didn't. Some people had wine, other people didn't. So what do? Do you just divide it by 4 and pay £25 each? Or do you work out which, from the itemised bill, exactly what each person had, and then each person pays for only what they had?
Yes, that's it.
Now, that's often...
So you divide it equally, or you divide it based on what people actually had. So if one person ordered more things than someone else, then if you divide it equally, then it's unfair.
Well,
because that person is then benefiting from that situation. I've got to move on, Steve, because
yes,
we've got
but
4,
anyway, I was just saying...
we've got 4 bloody minutes.
That was...
and I've got 17 maths equations to work out.
Oh, good grief.
So
How are we going to work out, can we fit 17 into the next 3 minutes?
No, we can't.
How many seconds would we need to spend on each in order to get these 17 into the next 3 minutes? Somebody quickly work. Use your calculator, Mr. Duncan. Right, I'll work it out.
No, Steve, because
you carry on. I'll work it out.
Now you just wasted
3 minutes, that's 60 minutes. Times 3 equals...
God, I'm sorry, everyone.
divided by
We've got people
17
joining us, Steve.
equals...
Steve,
You've got to do one every 10.5 seconds, Mr. Duncan.
That's impossible.
In order to... get...
okay. Well, you've just wasted a minute of that.
I just thought that would be funny, Mr. Duncan.
Yes. Well, guess what? Think again. Working out percentages also is a type of maths equation. So you are working out a percentage. And of course, when we talk about percent, we are talking per 100. So it always has to fit into 100. That is the basic way of putting a percentage into practice. So the measurement of percentage is always based around 100. In fact, even the symbol, you might notice the symbol is actually 100.
Right.
Have you ever noticed that?
No, never.
No, the percentage symbol is actually 100. If you look, it's 1 and 2 zeros. Even though it doesn't necessarily refer to that, but it is interesting why it looks like that.
Right, okay, yeah.
Sorry, I keep spitting over you. I'm very sorry.
I did notice.
In multiplication, there is a system of remembering the answers to basic sums. And this...
Say goodbye to Ginny.
See you later, Ginny. Thank you very much. In multiplication, there is a system of remembering the answers to basic sums. And you know what I'm going to say next.
Ah, the times tables.
The times tables.
Or the multiplication tables.
The thing that used to put the fear into most children when they were at school, when they were very young. No one likes multiplication. No one likes it at all.
My mum did. She loved them.
So the times tables, and quite often when we were at school, we would often learn the basic times table. So maybe, well, 1, of course, you don't need to learn that one. But times tables normally start from 2. So you always think of your 2 times table or your 3. And we would always learn up to 12. And I don't know why. So you never learnt your 13 times table.
No, you didn't, did you?
You always learned up to 12. And I never understood why that was so. So they would teach you all of those. And I will give you an example for those who aren't clear on what I'm saying.
A graphic.
For example, you can have your 2 times table. So 2 plus 2 is...
4.
4 plus 2 is...
6, as it
6.
says there, yeah.
6 plus 2 is 8. So each time you are multiplying, you are by adding 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18...
I think you needed to have actually explained all that, but
20.
never mind.
Well, I'm just going through it because it has a certain rhythm. And that is what I used to try and remember at school. So when I tried to remember my times table, I would often think of it almost visually, but also as a rhythm as well. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and you could remember it. So it's very strange, but there were always certain times tables that I had difficulty with. There's always one, and I think mine was 9.
9 and 7 wasn't easy either.
Yes,
the bigger the number became, the more difficult the multiplication or the times table became.
Yes, and of course the 2 easy ones, of course, were 10 and 11, because 10 always ends with a 0, and
Yes. 11 was it's just
it's always
like
the
1,
same,
isn't it?
It's always the same 2 numbers.
Yeah, 22,
33, 44, 55.
Yeah.
So that's how. So I was always very good at my 11 times tables and also my 10 times table, but not very good.
Of course, that wasn't actually a table. They're normally just split. They're normally in a table, aren't they? A table.
Yes.
They're normally sort of in a sort of a box shape.
Yes. Well, that's it. Yes. Well. Yes. Okay. But your times tables are your basic arithmetic using each number and normally adding that number to itself each time.
My mother had to learn it backwards. She said we had to know our multiplication tables backwards. So you wouldn't just go 1 2 is 2, 2 2s are 4, 3 2s are etc. You would have to start from 12 2s are 24 and then work back. And even for 9 and everything. I think if you were clever, you did learn 14 and 15 and 13, and you go up. But I don't know why. Maybe it just becomes very difficult. The 13 times table, perhaps it becomes very difficult. I don't know.
Okay, Steve, are you ready to be tested?
I don't want to be tested, but
No, it's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. So this is what our teacher used to do in our class. This is what our teacher used to do, and it's really horrible. It's really they used to put them on the board. They used to put the times table questions, and they would just get us to stand up and give the answers
instantly, without having to go through from the beginning.
Yes, that's it. And of course, I would be there going 1, 3, 3, 2, 3, 6, 3, 3, 12. But they say no, Duncan. We want the answer now, not later.
Sit down.
So here we go. Are you ready? let's go over to our
Here we go.
remote camera for our first times table question.
8 9 54.
Oh,
Is that right?
no, wait, Steve. So that's your answer. Anyone else? No, not just for you, but don't use the calculator. Pass me the calculator.
I'm not using it. People will be able to see.
No, you're ruining my format. Just let me do it.
All right.
So what is it? 9?
I think it's
times-
54. That's what springs to mind.
Oh.
You put 9 times 88. I don't know what that is.
That
Well, I
is
do now, but. 72. I got it wrong.
Where's David Starkey? Right there. You remember what happens if you get it wrong? You get this.
It didn't seem big enough to me.
Okay.
But there you go. Other people got it right. I didn't.
Are you ready for another?
Come on, then. Here we go.
Here's another one, Steve.
3 9s are 27.
3 9s. Okay. Let's see.
I think. Oh, thank goodness for that.
Steve. Okay. You get
got
now. Now, when David Starkey.
They're very slow on the live stream.
Wait, Steve.
I know there's a delay. I'm only joking.
Okay. When you get it right, of course, you get a happy David Starkey.
Oh, right. Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh, you see. So I'm not being unfair to Mr. Steve. When he gets it right, he will get.
Oh, we've got some various answers for
Don't
this
give
one.
the answer this time because of the live chat. You see, delay. So we'll do another one.
Well,
So
yeah, but people. I thought this was right. Okay. Anyway.
Yes,
Right.
but it's not just for you.
I know, but
There are other people watching. You see. Anyway,
we don't know if they're cheating or not.
well, they could be cheating. Okay, here's another one.
Don't forget I'm under pressure. 4 7s, 28. 32. 32. Oh, I was right the first time. I was right the first time. You should always trust your instincts.
Yes, that's
4 7 28. Yes.
That's a very good example of Mr. Steve not trusting his own instincts.
Don't forget, I'm feeling the perspiration, the pressure, Mr. Duncan. The pressure. Don't forget, we are live,
Yes,
so
well,
it adds a bit of extra pressure.
it'd be pointless if it was recorded.
Everyone's getting it right.
Okay, here's another one. It's good, isn't it? Is
No,
this,
it's not.
is this
I've
good?
only got one right so far.
Well, at least not taking your O levels in maths. Well, at least doing it twice. But you got it right the second time, didn't you?
7 12s are. It's not coming to me. 84. No. 96. I was right. You see, trust your instincts.
Yes, you were right.
I should have trusted my instincts.
This is very true of you. You see, this is very true of Mr. Steve. He often doesn't trust his own
I
instinct.
don't. I'm very bad at trusting my instincts.
So
I try to let the logical brain come in.
So you get one of these, Steve.
Thank you, David.
Yes. So he likes that. He likes it when you get it right.
Trust your instincts.
Anyway.
A lot of people are very good at mental arithmetic, I've got to say.
You'll be pleased.
Is that the last
You'll
one?
be pleased to hear that that's the last one. I didn't want to put too much pressure on you.
Well, shall I give you some?
No, Please.
What?
Well,
The tables have turned.
I've already confessed. I've confessed. I sat down with the vicar, or is it the priest, or is it the father? I sat down and I said, "Look, I've sinned. I cannot do mathematics." So I've actually admitted to it. There is no secret there. I am just terrible at mathematics. Anyway, before we go, one last thing I want to show you.
Yes.
What's all this about?
What the?
What is this all about, Steve?
It's to do with what Claudia is doing at the moment.
And I'll give you a clue. It's not an eye test.
It looks like an eye test.
It looks like we might be testing your eyes.
It's something that Claudia might cook in the oven.
Claudia might have one of these in the oven.
Yes.
It might be made of apple. It might be made of rhubarb. Who knows? This is, of course, we are talking about the lovely, lovely pi. Apparently, the longest number that exists.
Does it have an ending?
No.
Right.
Apparently, it's millions.
It's infinite. Is it infinite?
I think it's not infinite, but it is millions. Millions of numbers make up pi.
And do you know, I can't even remember what it's to do with. What is pi? I can't even remember why it's even important.
Isn't it connected to Pythagoras' theory of numbers? And this isn't this the most perfect number or something?
I can't even remember what it is.
Well, I didn't really. I think I slept during this lesson, to be honest.
But we should know.
When I was at school. I slept.
Basic fundamentals. We should know these sort of things.
Well, how often do you need pi?
Well, I don't think I've ever needed it.
No. well, it's not fundamental, then, is it?
But not in everyday life.
No.
Let's put it that way.
That's
But
So
someone will tell us what is the significance of that number.
yeah. So the conclusion I've come to today, Steve, from all of this, there is
Yes.
a conclusion that I've reached, and that's all you need are the basics of mathematics in
Yeah.
your daily life. But the problem is now a lot of kids are leaving school and they can't even do simple mathematics.
They can't even do their times tables.
No, I doubt they even know what they are.
Probably don't. They probably
Yeah.
don't. I wonder if they. I bet they don't teach them in school
Yes.
anymore.
Ask them what the new song by Katy Perry is, and they probably know what it is. But ask them what 7 5s are, and they'll just go,
35.
I don't know. Is it?
Trust your instincts.
Is
35.
it a rap song? Is it on TikTok? That sort of thing.
There's probably a pop group called Pi.
Probably is.
Oh, here we go. The ratio of length of circumference of a circle. The ratio of the length of the circumference of a circle and its diameter is always the number pi, no matter how big the circle. Thank you, Nitram. That's it. So there we go.
It's all about circles.
It's all about circles. So the ratio between. So that's it. So yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Can I just show you what Steve's just done? Well, sorry. This is Steve's explanation. This is so funny. I'm sorry, but
It's not funny. All right.
This is Steve. There we go. So Steve has made a note there of a circle, and that's it. So that's it, is it, Steve?
I know. So we know there. So let me explain. Yes. So there we go. So I think what Nitram means is right. So is if we measure that distance there.
Yeah, point it at the camera.
Well, I can't do. If we measure that distance, it's all back to front. If we measure that distance there, and then put that over that distance there, it's always doesn't matter how big the circle is. It could be as big as this room. A planet. Measure its circumference, and then and we can't do it with the planet. It's always 3.14. Interesting. Yeah, but why is that important? Why is that important? You'll never transform a square into a circumference. Yeah, but how is that useful in everyday life to know that? I don't think it is it? I think it's just a number. Pi is just a number. You don't use it for anything. That is just a number.
Yes.
I wouldn't go into a shop.
Well, this proves the point that I made earlier, that most mathematics, most of the equations, most of the types of mathematics is just completely pointless. It's all pointless.
But it's all going on in everyday life, because you imagine the amount of maths that has gone into working out how your mobile phone is working. Imagine how much maths has been used and equations working out how to get a mobile phone to work.
Well,
just think of that.
When you're talking about electricity, the capacitors, the all the little things that are inside, they all have to have their own measurements. So you have to work out, especially when you're dealing with electricity.
Speed of light is all involved with mobile phones. Everything. I mean, when you think of a mobile phone, you don't really think of it when you're using it, but the amount of human knowledge that's been required to get to that point to have a mobile phone, all the thousands, hundreds of years of knowledge of maths,
Thousands, hundreds of years.
physics that's been built up has culminated in that device.
Yes.
Because there's so much going on inside. It's quite mind-boggling
Yes, anything.
to imagine.
Well, anything that's... It always amazes me how they're able to launch a rocket into space, and they can work out to the inch where that rocket will be.
Like that one recently where they sent that rocket and it had to smash into that... Was it an asteroid? I
You're
think
telling
it
me,
was.
Steve?
Because they wanted to see that when it smashed into that... I think it was an asteroid. Would it put it off course? Because they want to see if they can stop asteroids hitting the Earth in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So Nitram will know about that. So they sent it off, didn't they? And it was millions of miles away, and they exactly managed to work out, incredibly, exactly how to smash into that comet.
Yes.
I think it was an asteroid.
And the other one is how they send a rocket, and it perfectly arrives at where it's going to, and then orbits the planet.
Yes, and it's gone round other planets to slingshot. It's gone round another one.
Yes.
And it's incredible.
Yes.
But that's all maths.
That's all mathematics, all of it. It's all They have to work all of that out.
Do you think I'll ever get to that level, Mr. Duncan? where I
I'm
could
going
work
to
out
no.
exactly how to send a rocket to another planet.
I'm going to say no.
Do you think they do that all on paper, or is it all mental arithmetic, or do you think they use computers?
I think it's done on paper,
Probably
and
is.
nowadays probably computers. I think so. Anyway, Steve, we've got to go.
Well, even Nitram says it's useless, and he's clever.
Well, he says it's useless, but it's very similar to music. It's beautiful. So when you
Yes.
think about it, music serves no purpose. When you think about it carefully, music doesn't do anything, but it's beautiful, and a lot of people see the beauty in maths.
Well, you have to know maths. You have to be good at mental arithmetic to do music, to read music, because it's all time. Or you have to
Yes.
know how much a note is worth, and how many in the bar and all that to work out. Particularly if you're sight reading, which is probably why I'm not very good at sight reading. Anyway, Mr. Duncan, are we finished? Can I go and get something to eat?
Oh, we are definitely finished.
Right.
We are back on Wednesday. Don't forget, there is more of this wonderful stuff. This is all happening again on Wednesday, but not this. This is now recorded, and it will be kept in the archives forever and ever. But on Wednesday, we have a whole new one to do.
Nitram says that in June last year, the first 100 trillion decimal place of pi was known.
Yes, that's a lot.
I wonder, that's a lot.
That's a lot of pie.
That's a lot of pi.
I don't think I could eat all of that.
Here's a math. Here's something which is incredible when it comes to numbers.
Okay.
Can I end on this and then go?
Your age.
No.
It's such a big number.
The difference between a million and a billion. It doesn't sound very much, does it?
Oh, okay. Are you going to explain this well?
I hope so.
Okay.
No, because how long will it take? I worked this out once on a calculator. You can work it out now. If you have a billion marbles or a billion gold coins,
Okay.
a billion, how long would it take you to count them if you counted one every second? How long? Well, it's about 11 years.
Okay. So it would take you 11 years to count
To count a billion if you were counting a billion of anything.
Yeah, or just count to a billion.
But if you were a billionaire, for example,
Okay.
and somebody if you're a millionaire, you could count the million in a few days, one a second. If you had €1 million or £1 million, I think it only takes like a few days to count a million.
Yes.
But it takes you 11 years to count a billion of them. So if you're a billionaire, you can never ever count your wealth. You can never say, "Oh, I'll count them. Count all
Yes.
those billion pennies." You can't do it.
But
It takes
who
about 11
years? Who is going to count them?
I know,
anyway?
but you think you'd be able to, wouldn't you? Count them,
No.
but you can't.
I pretty much know I wouldn't be able to because
All
it's
right,
a
well,
lot.
I thought it was interesting.
Well, it's a lot. You know who else is a billionaire? You know who's a billionaire?
You?
No, not me. I wish I was. No, this guy,
Hi everyone.
Rishi Sunak. He's a billionaire.
And his wife's a multi-billionaire.
Yes.
Right,
And-
all right. It's lovely to be here, Mr. Duncan. Lovely
Yes.
to share this wonderful moment.
It
this
was
2 hours.
It was great.
My energy levels have remained high. So the peanut butter sandwich that I had before coming on has done its work. So I'm going to go off into the kitchen and make 1 + 1 cups of tea, which doesn't mean I'm going to make no cups of tea. It means I'm going to make 2 cups of tea.
Yeah.
And so I'll look forward to seeing you all possibly on Wednesday.
Yeah. The word you're looking for is goodbye.
Yeah, so I'll see you Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Steve. Never has anyone taken so long to say goodbye. But he did it. He managed to do it. Thank you, Mr. Steve. I appreciate it so much, more than you will ever know. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Thank you, everyone, for watching this. And I hope it's been interesting. I hope it's been enlightening. If there's one thing I hope this has been, it is enlightening. I hope you are well and truly enlightened. See you on Wednesday. We are back on Wednesday. I think we are looking at above and below on, I think so, on Wednesday. I think that's what we're looking at. So I will see you on Wednesday, 2 p.m. UK time. Of course, Mr. Steve will be with us as well. He will be here. So I will see you on Wednesday. And I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. I hope it's been good. I really do. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of the English language, saying thanks for watching. See you soon. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And of course, ta-ta for now.